Hey guys, welcome back to my animal YouTube series. This is my Olympia prep. So currently I am 11 weeks out, and to catch back up on just what's been going on. Last year I was in a really different spot, having done Chicago Pro, then Tampa Pro, and being down at weight and just kind of coasting into Olympia and adding more food in. It's a very different prep experience versus like just stripping down just for your first show, and you don't do a warm-up show or anything like that. But it's not any type of lack of confidence as far as doing that in that sense. I have a mixed about it, because the idea is you always want to be kind of ready early and then be able to back off those last few weeks. So it's also nice to not have such this extenuated long prep. And last year I was on prep for a little over 30 weeks. This year could have been like that if I had to qualify with all the show cancellations. So I'm definitely fortunate that I'm already qualified and I can do this prep in one shot. But anyway, about managing fatigue, and what I'm talking about is ran into some minor issues. It really wasn't, but just things to address on prep for me. So coming back from North Americans, where Renee competed, and then coming back this week, like sleep was off, and there was a little bit more fatigue I was carrying. Then that next week, Andrew increased my cardio from 35 minutes to 45 minutes on the Stairmaster, which I've been doing 35, no big deal. But the 45-minute increase just really killed my legs. It's a lot for me to do on there. That on top of my leg training, that on top of me coming back from travel as well and still carrying some fatigue from sleep not being great, just kind of really drove me into the ground quick, and it just really stalled me and beat up my legs. So what we did was drop out the Stairmaster, add in incline treadmill walking for 35 minutes. So back down 10 minutes. I'm doing like a 12% incline at 2.8 miles per hour. And to make up for that calorie difference, the carbs were dropped 50 grams. So I was at 350 grams, went down to 300. That made up that extra 10 minutes of cardio, roughly. It was not quite the same. But doing those little changes, I feel drastically better. Like prep, it feels easier, but just as effective, actually more effective, because I'm not carrying that fatigue. And what I started noticing was like my training was going down. Like you don't want to go in the gym on prep and just not that the mental drive is there to train. Like it's there. Like I could have pushed as hard as I could and gone to failure and mentally gone there, but physically just wouldn't happen. Just not there as much as I wanted it to mentally. So when you have that much fatigue and your performance is dropping down, this is like a huge red flag to do something about it, to manage fatigue, because you need performance to stay high all throughout your prep. That's what's going to hold on to muscle and give you that dense, hard look. And so doing so is just drastically improved my training performance. So now lifts are starting to progress back up. My legs don't feel heavy. They feel like extremely fresh, which is a great thing to do. My last prep, if y'all followed it, I was walking outside for like 2 hours a day, which isn't like fast walk, maybe like 2.2, 2.3 miles per hour, but just long duration. It's very, very low fatiguing, but time consuming. That's the issue. And that's my issue with this prep, is that I am working quite a bit on this prep. And so I need something that can be a little bit more moderate intensity to be time efficient. So that's why I'm not doing a lot of the outdoor walking. And here in San Antonio, we've had a pretty good streak of rain, so that can be limiting. So having the treadmill now at home is a big benefit. So I went out and bought one, so I have one at the house. And I'm like 20, 25 minutes from the gym, so just to travel back and forth, that's like an extra 45 minutes out of the day to do so. So it made sense to get one at home. But anyway, everything's really ticking along. In my pictures, I look tighter. I'm dropping well, starting to get more shape and roundness and everything. So that's all progressing really, really good. Today was my push day. So it's my push session and go into the gym. And one thing that I did wake up today, and Andrew, looking at the pics, was like, you know what, you've been holding around this kind of 230-ish mark, and I haven't had any type of refeeds or any cheat meals or anything like that. So he made the call to add extra food in today. So pre-gym, I had, and today's also Renee's 2-year anniversary, and so kind of worked out as well because we're going to do 2 muffins pre-gym. So I only had meal 1, so we can have and go train, then a lot of the rest of the day to go do activities. But then also he wanted me to do 4 sushi rolls tonight. So it worked out very well because I was going to go take her on a date night and not be able to eat anything, just take my Tupperware and do it. But that was be fine. But just adding in those extra calories to have a large calorie surplus, mainly carbohydrate based. It's going to have some fats in there too, but just one day to bring up carb levels, bring up performance, and keep us moving along and pushing in the rest of the week. Had a solid training session with that. So for this push day, going in, I am starting with the dumbbell lateral, which I had taken them out because you see a lot of things on matching strength curves and the resistance profile. The dumbbell lateral doesn't cater that well to it. You just get a little bit of resistance at the top of the movement and not a lot at the bottom when the dumbbells are hanging by your sides. But what you really just have to think about is, what do you connect well with? I think that matters because I try all these different things like, oh, well, this in theory makes sense. You're matching the strength profile and the resistance profile and doing like a cable lateral or machine laterals. And I just have the best connection with my side delt doing a dumbbell lateral raise. So I'm going to do a dumbbell lateral, and I love just using free weight sometimes. So starting with dumbbell laterals, and I always start with one on push day because you're never going to have the feedback that your medial delt is just too large, your side delt is just too big, man. Bring it down. Never going to hear that. And it's not going to interfere with your further pressing movements. You'll get some localized fatigue in the side delt, but it's not going to really impact the rest of your training by developing a lot of systemic central nervous system fatigue. So start with the lateral, just doing 2 sets here, 2 work sets. Work up to a hard set around 12 reps. Then I drop weight and hit a set of like closer to 15 reps. Next movement I'm going to is the hammer strength flat chest press machine. So it's a chest focused pressing movement. And within this one, I'm just trying to work up to a hard set of somewhere between 8 to 10 reps. And do my normal, do a back off set, get something higher up between 12 to 15 reps. And within these push days, whether I'm picking, do a chest focus movement or do a shoulder focus movement first, you could rotate them, if you're doing 2 push days a week, but truly like program to your need and what you need first. If chest is your weakest point, put your chest movement first. You could put it chest first on both your push days. And that would make total sense, and pick a movement that you connect well with. So moving from that hammer strength flat chest press movement, I move to the Smith machine, and I'm about at like a 60-degree incline. So it's a steeper incline. This is more of my like shoulder press movement, but it's really just and it's going to hit some upper pec. But I've talked to y'all guys before about I run into shoulder problems and pain doing strict like overhead pressing. So I keep it at this angle, shoulders stay happy, and I'm able to keep progressing up. I do add on a reverse band onto this because of the shoulder issues I've had, so it makes a little bit less loading when the shoulder's fully stretched at the bottom position, when you might be lack some shoulder stability. And then also it just makes that transition from eccentric to concentric when I come back up a little bit more forgiving. I like doing dead stop for that reason, but where I have my bench set up, I just can't do it in that rack. So with this one, I'll work up to like a set of 10, then back off for the set of 15 reps. Now my next pressing movement will go to a tricep focused press. For your next, like if you're doing like a tricep focused press after this, so kind of have our chest press, our shoulder press, now our tricep press, pick a tricep press that's also going to hit a weak point for you. So if your shoulders are weak, you might be picking like a high incline, close grip type of press, to where you can bring more triceps in. Or if your chest is weak, maybe you'll be doing a flat press or a dip. For me, I've had these issues with my shoulders doing like flat close grip bench, so doing it at a slight incline has been beneficial, but we just don't have a lot of variation. I don't want to just stay on the Smith machine, so I used the incline hammer strength press and banded it, so band pulling down, so it's going to have a lot more tension at the top to put more focus on the triceps. And I just bring the seat up higher and take a close grip, and I can make it a tricep focused pressing movement. You can do this with a lot of your machines if you don't have like some of the more neutral grips or narrow grips on your chest pressing machines. You can just move your arms in on the handles and make it a close grip press. So this one, just work up to a set of like 8 to 10 again, and back down set of 12 to 15 reps. So from there, I'm moving into now my chest isolation and my tricep isolation movements. So doing a pec deck fly, I just do 2 sets on a pec deck fly, hitting around 12 to 18 reps, 20 reps, somewhere in the higher rep range, since I've already done some low rep loading with my pressing movements. And just with a pec deck fly, like sometimes I'll lean back, but a lot of times I still feel my best when I like kind of lean forward into the pec fly. And I do that also from the pec fly moving into my tricep isolation, which is still my favorite one, using the prime handles, because you can set that prime handle up at shoulder width. So any of your tricep pressings that keep you with a really narrow grip, usually you're internally rotated, and that they don't allow your hands to spread apart very well. So you end up not being able to lock out, and a lot of people kind of get stuck in this position, and you're really only using like partial range of motion then, not taking the triceps to the full range. So the prime handles are awesome because you can set the width right at shoulder width. So that's kind of like where you want to set them. And then when you're doing your press down, you want your shoulder, elbow, and hand all in line to be mechanically efficient and match with the line of force that's pulling. So the prime handles are perfect. So you can set your shoulder width. They can kind of move, and they almost allow you to have some natural internal rotation at the very end, which feels more natural for the triceps to move through. It takes away a lot of elbow pain too, for if you have some issues doing any type of tricep isolation work. On this one, I do 3 sets because I know my triceps can handle a little bit more recovery-wise. So I just do a set of 15. I'll stay with the same weight for another set, then I'll back down the weight and go for another one then. And usually that second set, once I back down, will be in the back up to like close to the 15 rep range. So usually I'm like 15 reps, then I'll drop down to maybe like 11, 10. Then I'll back down a weight, and then I'll go back up to like 15. So I'm trying to stay within that 10 to 15 rep range on it. So I just adjust the load to stay within that. And that's wrapped up the push day. So after push day, Renee and I went down. We have a park called Hemisphere Park. It's where we have our Towers of America. It's like this really big tower in San Antonio that you can go up there. It's an observatory, but also you can eat up there too. So there's a park they redid down in that area. So we went out there and just walked around for the day. I had no direct cardio planned for the day, but I ended up getting about the same amount of steps I do when I do cardio. Then we went out and had sushi, and I'm such a lightweight on sushi. I was supposed to eat 4 rolls. I ate 3 rolls. I'm like, I'm full. So I just took the other roll home to go and ate it with my last meal. So 4 rolls were consumed. But overall, all this high day, like I still had good performance in the gym. Going into pull now for the next session, should see a good drive up in performance. And hopefully what we should see is weight should start coming back down from this increase in food that I had. But anyway, guys, that wraps up my update for you. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Leave them down below. I'd be happy to answer those for you. And until next time, talk to you then.